This is Colin O'Keefe for LXBN TV, and today we are talking about one of my absolute favorite news topics as of late, LINSANITY, specifically the trademark surrounding the popular Jeremy Lin associated term. My guest today is Geri Haight, attorney at Mintz Levin and author on the firm's blog, Copyright and Trademark Matters. Starting off, where do things stand with the LINSANITY trademark? It's my understanding that a few people have tried to go after it.
That's right. Actually, there are 7 pending applications for LINSANITY. Actually, one of those is for Jeremy Lin, the name Jeremy Lin, all relating obviously to Jeremy Lin, the player for the Knicks. And they have all been filed within the past month. I think the first application was filed early in February, shortly after the world learned of who Jeremy Lin is. And there's been kind of lots of activity in the trademark office ever since that date. So I think this whole process kind of kicked off when an individual in California applied to register the mark LINSANITY, which obviously was kind of filling the blogosphere and on sports television as a term very much associated with Jeremy Lin. And on the heels of that, another applicant who was affiliated with Jeremy Lin, I think back when he was a high school basketball player, another application was filed for LINSANITY, and following that, Jeremy Lin got in on the action himself most recently and was actually applied for both LINSANITY and Jeremy Lin. Mm-hmm. So, and following that, there have been a couple other applications filed, all by people who appear to be completely unrelated to Jeremy Lin, but kind of gravitating to the word LINSANITY to propose use on a variety of goods.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we have one person who's somewhat associated with Jeremy Lin. We have Jeremy Lin, and then we have people who have no relation to Jeremy Lin whatsoever going after this mark. So is it even possible for someone else to own a mark so closely tied to an individual they aren't even associated with?
No. Basically, there's some provisions for registration under the Trademark Act, and Section 2 of the Trademark Act sets forth bars to registration. So you will be prohibited from registering a term that creates a false association with a person. So here, LINSANITY, obviously the Lin portion of that word is tied to Jeremy Lin himself and this kind of phenomenon he's created in the basketball world. That I would expect that these applicants who are unrelated to Jeremy Lin would face a refusal by the Trademark Office to register that mark on the basis of Section 2A for creating that false association. The second provision that would apply is Section 2C of the Trademark Act, which prohibits the registration of a trademark that is tied to a living individual. Mm-hmm. So here we have Jeremy Lin. Obviously, he's very much alive. And so unless that person provides their consent, the trademark application will be barred. So you have to remember, like, the trademarks are all about connecting a term to a source of goods or services. Mm-hmm. So here, unless the person who's associated with that name, Lin and LINSANITY, is part of the deal, probably these trademark applications will be denied because they're creating the false association that Jeremy Lin is affiliated with them, when in most cases he is not, in fact, associated. So I think that the trademarks are unlikely to succeed. I would also point out that most of the applications are based on an intent to use the mark in commerce in connection with goods or services, not on actual use in commerce. So here, it's a lot of people kind of thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could sell, goods under the mark LINSANITY because that's such a great name right now. But it's not that these marks have actually been out there before the Lin phenomenon in the beginning of February. Yeah. So the only one who has a claim to use is actually not Jeremy Lin himself, but this former coach based in California who is the basketball coach in high school. He claims to have set up a website, LINSANITY, The JeremyLinShow.com, I believe, is another one back, a year or so ago. And so he's the only one who based his application on the basis of actual use of the mark. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, happens with that, because it's not my understanding that Jeremy Lin has consented to his use in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, maybe this is the most important question, is the term LINSANITY even capable of being trademarked?
Well, that's actually a very important threshold issue from my perspective, is this actually a trademark? And because most of the uses of the mark are not being used in commerce, we have no way of knowing whether it can actually function as a trademark. Now, most of the applicants are applying for the mark in connection with goods. So when you think of t-shirt sales, you think of a brand name kind of sewn onto a tag inside the shirt. So I don't know what the benefit is of getting a LINSANITY mark on the inside of a t-shirt, for example, or a sports jersey. I would think that these people want to kind of emblazon LINSANITY across the front of the shirt. And if they do, that's not really a trademark usage. It's more of a kind of a slogan or a saying or a catchphrase, which trademark law typically doesn't protect. Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting to see if these individuals, if they can kind of progress their way through to registration, they must first show use of the mark in commerce in a trademark sense, and that may be where they stumble. They will probably, the trademark office doesn't look at the real issue of use, particularly given that these marks aren't even in use yet for the most part, mm-hmm. until they've already progressed through and overcome these Section 2A and 2C refusals. But at some point, before you actually get a registration, you have to submit specimens of use. And at that point, if the mark is not being used in a trademark sense, the trademark office could issue a refusal to register based on failure to function as a trademark. And then they'll be denied registration on that basis.
I see. Well, like everything else associated with Jeremy Lin, I think these trademark cases will be interesting to watch. At the time of this recording, he plays the Miami Heat tonight in probably his biggest game. So it'll be interesting to watch. Well, once again, that was Geri Haight of Mintz Levin and the firm's Copyright and Trademark Matters blog. For more on the LINSANITY trademark story, go check out copyrighttrademarkmatters.com and, of course, LXBN.lexblog.com. Thanks, Geri.
Thank you.